Hi, it's Bob with Aspire at CIS High School. Today we're going to be working in the CIS program, that is Career Information System. And that's prepared by the University of Oregon. It has a lot of different features that you may want to explore, and we can do that in a future video, but what we're talking about today is creating your resume and activity chart. So let's go into CIS, and to do that, I can type in Oregon CIS or CIS Oregon, and that will come up here. Career Information System, and we go to Login. Now, you may come to a page before this that says you have to log into the CIS High School account before you can create your own account. If that happens, from home, type in CIS, CIS, all lowercase. That's the username, and the password is CIS Viking, all lowercase. Now, once you do that, you will be prompted to set up your account, and that will require a username and a password and some other things. And once you do that, you will then be able to log into your account, which is what I'm about to do now. By the way, if you are at school using the Aspire computers, you do not have to use the passwords CIS, CIS, and CIS Viking. You can go straight to your account, because this will come up as CIS High School once you call up CIS in our office. All right, now, go over here to My Portfolio, and we're going to go down here to Resume Creator. All right, the first thing we're going to do is click on Education and Training. And as you can see, I've put in some of my educational experiences, but let's take a look at how you actually add one. So you click on Add a School. Now, I'm assuming that one of the schools you'll be adding is CIS High School, and you may have other high schools that you've attended. You do not need to go back past high school. So put in your high school name here, and you can put in city and state. You do not have to put in street. Starting date, put in the date that you began at CIS High School. If you're a senior in 2019, that is in January of 2019 when I'm doing this, you probably started at CIS High School in 2015 if you started here as a freshman. The ending date, if you're still at CIS High School, just put to present down here. Click that. You do not have to put in major or degree or hours or GPA or activities or courses. I'm going to cancel it. When you do it, you should hit Save Information. All right. Next, so put in all of your education history. Then we're going to go to Licenses and Certificates. You may not have any. I have a couple of them. I have an amateur radio license and a substitute teaching credential, so I put those here. If you click over here, what you will see is a place for you to put in whatever that license is and some other information about it, but not a lot. All right, so let's go on to workshops and training. You may not have had any workshops and training, so you can probably skip that unless there is something in particular that you want to highlight. Standardized tests, we're going to skip over that, and we're going to go to paid and unpaid work. Now, this is not typically where you're going to put in volunteer experiences. I did put Aspire in here, but there actually is a better place for it. Otherwise, these are some jobs that I've held in the past, and I put those here. So when you go to Add Work History, you're going to see a place for your employer. That is the name of the company or organization you worked for, not the person, unless it was an individual, like babysitting. You might want to put, you do not have to put URL. You can put in city and state only. Not necessary for a telephone number. Starting date and ending date are helpful. In fact, you should put those in. Starting pay and ending pay, I would not put in. Hours per week, if you can estimate an average, that's fine. Job title, if you had one. You do not need to put in supervisors' first and last names. All right. And none of the rest of this is necessary unless you want to put in something about duties. Reason for leaving, you can skip that. Let's cancel this one because I've already done this. And we'll go on to, wait a minute, let's back up to where we were here. All right, now, volunteer work and community service. Here you're going to put in your volunteer activities. I put in Aspire, Casa of Lane County, Dune City Council, Hunterdon Sailing Club, and you will have others to put in. Hopefully, and I will say this as I often do, you will have volunteer work to put down here on your resume. I keep stressing, and I will continue to stress, the importance of volunteer work for scholarships and for college applications. So if you haven't done much volunteer work yet, try to come up with some things. Even if you're in your senior year, you can still add something to that. If nothing else, join Key Club or Interact, or go work at the Boys and Girls Club for the spring term. Something that allows you to put it down on here. All right. And so that's your community service. Military service, most of you don't have that, so we'll skip over it. And we'll go to achievements, activities, and skills. Now, you may not have anything to put here, but if you have a particular skill, for example, that you want to highlight, like you are an expert chess player, or you are particularly good at maybe finances, personal finances, or something. You can do that, but it's not necessary. There may not be anything that goes here. All right, then we'll go down to activities, and you definitely will have, hopefully, will have some things to put here. I put down in college, I was the manager of a radio station there. When I go to add activity, notice what your choices are here. Athletics. Now, hopefully, you will put down any sports that you've played in, whether it's at Sayusla High School or in an outside league. Any clubs you belong to, community service. We already had a place for that, I believe. But anything else that you want to put under activities. And don't hesitate to put things down here, even if they don't seem real important to you. They may be important to someone reading your resume. All right, now skills. You may not have anything to put here. So let's go on down to contact information and references. Now, one of the things you need to do here is double check and make sure that everything here is written correctly. And if not, go over here to edit. Make sure in particular that you have capital letters to start your name, to start the name of the street. So M and S should be capitalized, and F and O. Make sure all of that is properly written and spelled correctly. I'm going to cancel this because I've already done it and go back to here. All right. Now let's go to references. Let's see, that was personal information. Let's go to references. We're not going to put references in right now because actually it's better if you put down something different, which I'll show you in a moment. If you put your references on your resume, you're kind of locked into those while you're sending out that resume, but you may want to change. For example, if you apply to a certain scholarship, you might want to use some references, and a different scholarship use some others. So I'll show you what to do about that. So generally I skip this, and now I go down here to create resume. All right, now there are several things to put in here. First of all, if you have one saved previously, you can call it up here. I don't believe I do. No, this one is the new one. So now, important note down here. Select a resume style, click Build Your Own. That seems to be the way to get everything to print properly. If you don't, it seems to leave some things out. Include dates in resume, I always do that. As far as references, click this one. Use statement, references available upon request. That's very common on resumes, and then you can include letters of reference, or you can leave that and just leave that on your resume and ask that people contact you if they want to look at your references. Okay, now this then shows everything is checked, and you can save your options. That is your formatting. And I'm going to save my formatting to something called Resume 1. And then down here, Microsoft Word is fine. And I'm going to give my resume a title, Bob's Resume. You can do that any way you like. All right, now I'm going to save the resume right here. Then I want to take a look at it. So I'm going to skip the objective part and the summary, and I'm going to go all the way down here to download resume so I can look at it. So down here in the left-hand corner, I click Bob's resume, and that should call it up on the screen in just a moment. All right, now I won't put it full size, but this is basically what you have. If you want to click on full size up here, you may do that. I'm going to leave it this way because I'm going to close it back out again. But you now have a working resume. You can print it if you want from this point, and that's fine. Actually, let's go ahead and bring this to full size. And if you want to print it, we can enable editing. And then if you want to print it, I think you would click Control P, and that should get you a printed copy of it. I will close this back out now, and we are finished creating your resume. Now, what I'm going to do, this has been a long video, so in the next one, I'm going to show you how to get and retrieve your activity chart. It will be a very short process, as you'll see. But that's all we need to do for this. Your resume is created.